Rolling.
Do we ask questions or just listen?
You just listen. Hi, I'm Ross Mitchell, and I'm a musician. As a musician, I'm a member of a dying breed. Across the nation over the last decade or so, many budget cuts have been made in the music departments of public schooling. Now, this greatly hinders and decimates any opportunity or any desire for a kid to get to experience the wonders and the abilities of music. Now, to help explain some of this, I've pulled information from the Oklahoma newsroom, from Livestrong.com, as well as Commonwealth.org. And then I have also pulled some information from professors' blogs, as well as a few other reports. This evening I'm going to explain some of the gains and the intelligence studies that we have learned over the past decade or so from music, as well as some of the hindrances, mainly in budget, that stand in the way of these gains and further research. And then I will explain some ideas and ways that you may be able to help the community around you and to help further progress your music. You may have heard the term, Mozart makes you smarter. You may have even had Mozart played for you while you were a child by your parents. There's actually a lot of scientific truth to this. In 1993, a study found that for a group of college students who were stimulated by one single Mozart concerto, after that one single stimulus, their scores were raised tremendously. In addition to this, Annie Patel, the professor of psychology at Tufts University, states that learning a musical instrument can have unprecedented intelligence gains. Now, this does not mean that plugging into your iPod and listening to some AC/DC or some Louis Armstrong jazz is going to boost your IQ a whole bunch. It doesn't mean that. However, if you do sit down and actually learn an instrument, it can have gains such as further speech perception, the ability to better understand emotions, even the ability to better handle multiple situations at one time. You can better multitask. Now that we all know some basic gains that music gives us, here's some facts you may not have known. Did you know that playing a musical instrument actually uses almost every function of your brain? As you may know, your brain is categorized into many different parts. Excuse me. As shown in this diagram, on the left you have a brain at rest. Notice that it's green and blue, very little red or yellow. Red or yellow in this case is brain activity. There's very little, it's at rest, it's not doing very much. On the right, after it's been introduced to music stimulus, every section has at least some red in it. Every part of your brain is used when you're actively listening to, or playing a musical instrument. Another fact you may not have known, according to the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, activated in 2002 by President George W. Bush, this act mandates that the arts, defined as arts, music, foreign language, etc., be a core class in all public schools. Yet, ever since 2008 in the Great Recession, schools have been continually cutting their music programs every year. In Oklahoma alone, over $160 million have been cut since 2008. That's almost a 25% cut per student. Almost an entire quarter of their budget is gone from music alone for one student, each student. This overwhelming information of musical gain combined with musical cuts, it baffles me. I don't understand. The money is continually stripped away from the students who can actually boost the test grades and the scores that these schools need to get more money in their budget. This brings up the question, what can we do to help? There are several things you can do to help. One of them is donations. Donations are the classic way of helping any educational system, and they prove to be fairly effective. Donations can help a music department, a math department, a reading department. Anything can be helped by donation. However, overall, there are other methods that are more efficient. They'll get the job done better. Some of these ways are being an advocate for something. The TMEA is a good example of this. The TMEA is the Texas Music Educators Association. The Texas Music Educators Association, or TMEA, annually holds the largest music convention in the world right here in Texas. Here they award thousands of students and teach directors many different things. One of these things is fundraising. Here they learn that to raise funds, you need to get your school board involved. You need to award students and get parents involved. You need to get the media involved. You need to speak up and get the word out so that everyone knows what you're doing and the success that you're having. Because no one's going to want to help someone if they don't even know that they're actually succeeding. The third way that you can help someone is possibly the most effective. It's support. Primarily from the parents of the students in the programs. Any teenager will admit, whether it be from proactive support or negative support, they're going to get the job done after a parent action. If a parent supports them, they're going to want to make them proud. They're going to strive harder. If a parent thinks they can't do it, well then, by golly, they're going to go even harder because they want to prove that parent wrong. Either way, when a parent acts, that student is going to get the job done. In the end, in the face of overwhelming opposition of budget cuts and lack of effort, if we group together and everyone works hard, we can raise the standards of music, we can bring in more gains of music. The studies of the brain functions have only been around 15 to 20 years. That's not very long in the eye of science. And I think there are many, many more discoveries, particularly in brain function, that can be found from music and music composers. So please, I ask you, save music.